In this video we're going to be talking about angles of triangles and solving different triangles. So when we're looking at it, the sum of the measures of three angles of a triangle is always going to be 180 degrees. So all of my inside angles, so this angle, and this angle will always add to be 180 degrees. Okay, so I said all of my angles add to be 180. This little box in here represents 90. So I'm going to take all of my angles. So 2x plus 1 plus 90 plus 5x plus 5 and set it equal to 180 degrees. I'm going to solve it. So I have 2x and 5x to get 7x. I have 91 there, plus 1 is going to be 96. We're going to subtract 96 and get 84. Divide by 7. X is 12. Okay, so this one we're going to take x plus 2x plus x minus 20 and set it equal to 180. So x plus 2x is 3x plus x is 4x. This one we're also going to find the angle measures. So I'm going to put 2x equals. So I'm going to put 2x equals, I'm going to put x minus 20 equals, and x equals. So I know that I find all of them. Okay, so let's keep solving. So I'm going to add 20 to get 200, and then divide by 4 to get 50. So I can fill 50 in. Now we're going to fill the rest of it in. 2 times 50 is 100 degrees, and then 50 minus 20 is 30 degrees, and to double check to see if we got it all right, we add them. So 100 plus 30 plus 50 is 180 degrees. Okay, my next one I'm going to highlight. I actually have 3 different triangles in here. I have my blue one, my pink one, and my little green one. So I need to solve my big ones before I find my small one to be able to find my x. So we're going to do my blue one first. So we're going to call this angle that's missing P. So this little box means 90 degrees. Let me zoom in here. So I'm going to do 65 plus 90 plus P and set it equal to 180. So we can find what that last angle in there is. So my next step, I'm going to do 65 plus 90 to get 155. Subtract 155. We have P equaling 25. So now I know that angle is now 25. Now I got to find my pink one. So we're going to call it R. So this time I do 50 plus 80 plus R equals 180. So 50 plus 80 is 130. Subtract 130, we know R is 50. So he is now 50. Now I can work my green triangle because I have 2 pieces of information. I can find my x. Oops, that's 50. So I can take 50 plus 25 plus x equal to 180. So 75 plus x equals 180. Subtract that 75. That angle is 105. Let's say I put k here and I want to find k. K is actually vertical to x. So if they're vertical, it means they're the same. So that would also be 105 if I have that angle sitting out there because they're vertical angles. Okay, my next theorem, exterior angle theorem. The measure of the exterior angle is greater than either of the measure of the remote interior angles. So when I talk about remote, I'm talking about the angles that are all alone, not touching my exterior. Okay, interior means they're sitting on the inside of my triangle. So it's the 2 angles. So if I say angle 1, 2, 3, 4, these are going to be angle 1 and angle 2. So the 2 angles that aren't touching my exterior angle, but sitting on the inside of my triangle. Okay, and so basically what this theorem is stating is that if I take my angle 1 and angle 2, my 2 remote interior angles, it will equal my exterior angle. So if this was 30 degrees and this was 40 degrees, my angle 4 would be 70. My two remote interior angles that aren't attached to it will always equal, if I add them, my exterior. Okay, so here's my first example. Let's call this X and make our life easier. Okay, so if I add my two remote interiors, so the ones not touching my exterior one, so 65 plus X, it will equal my exterior one. So if I wanted to solve it, I would subtract 65 and I would get 40. Okay, labeled the base, base angles, vertex angle, and legs. So this is going to be my base or my bottom, which means the two angles touching it are going to be my base angles. My vertex angle is going to be that top angle. And then my legs that hold up my vertex are these. They hold up that vertex angle, my legs. Okay, so I know this is an isosceles triangle because I have two congruent legs. So I'm going to figure out my two congruent angles. Because we always have two congruent legs, two congruent angles. If we have congruent angles, we can set these equations equal to each other. I need to get my x's on one side, so I'm going to subtract 6x. The reason I can't add all three angles and set it equal to 180 is because I have x's and y's. It's not going to work. So that's why I'm taking this route. Then we're going to divide by -3. All right, now I have x being 7, but I still need to find y. To get y, I need these angles. So I'm going to plug them in, so 3 times 7 gets me 21, which automatically means this other one is 21 because they're congruent. Now I can do y plus the other two angles and set it equal to 180. I'm going to subtract 42 and get 138. And I'm going to label this with a degrees because it's showing an actual angle. X, I don't put a degree because you have to plug it in. The 21 is the one that would have the degrees on them. Okay, my next one, the 126 is in that bigger triangle. So I need to work with that triangle before I make the jump to my other one. So one way that I can do it is I have two congruent sides, so I have two congruent angles, which means if the one's y, the other one's y. So if I add all three angles, 126 plus y, it should equal that 180. So now I got 2y. If we subtract 126, got 54 divided by 2. Y is 27, so I'm going to replace him with 27. Now there's two different routes you can go with the next one. You can use the fact that this is a straight line to jump into the other triangle. You would do 180 minus 126, or you can add all of your angles and set it equal to 180 of your big triangle. So if I change colors here and look at my big triangle, I know that little box means 90. I need to do this whole angle, so I need x and that 27 and my last 27 for my other angle. So it's a little weird because we actually have 4 angles in it that we're adding. So 90 plus 27 plus 27. So 144. Subtract 144. We get x to be 36 degrees. And my y should have a degree on it too, because we don't have to plug it in and solve it to get its degree. Okay, my next one here, these little lines, those little arrows mean that they're parallel. So if I have a right angle here, it makes a right angle here. So we're going to use that at some point, okay? So let's go ahead. I need to somehow get this angle because I need 2 angles to find my missing one. But let's find this first. So let's call him P. So I can do 28 plus that right angle plus P, set it equal to 180. So 28 plus 90 gets me 118. We subtract 118 All right, so he's 62. But because it's a right angle, I can do 90 minus 62 to finally make that jump into the triangle. So 28. Now I have two pieces of information in that big one where I can find x. So I can do 48 plus 28 plus x and set it equal to 180. So a lot of times you're jumping from one triangle to the other. So 48 plus 28 gets me 76. If I subtract 76, I get x to be 104 degrees. Okay, my last one, I know my right angle is going to come into play because I have parallel lines. The thing that's going to help me out about this one is the fact that it's equilateral. If it's equilateral, it's also equal angular, which means all of these angles are congruent. Well, if the total is 180 and we have to split it up evenly between 3, 180 divided by 3 is 60. And I said equilateral triangles will always be 60, 60, 60. Well, if that's a right angle, I could do 90 minus 60 and get y to be 30. And now I made the jump into that triangle. So x plus 90 plus 30. Set it equal to 180. So now I got 120. We can subtract 120 and get x to be 60 degrees.